Q&A. I must have missed a lot of these discussions, so this will be circulated, of course, later. But if you have questions, we'll be happy to address it.
Thank you, Anil. I was really looking forward to your presentation. You know, as I said, we had 5 others before, but the annual haze smog, you know, is the most visible to all of us, you know, and I was really looking forward, you know, to see, you know, what solutions you can or your company can provide. Let me ask you something. Since we started with the Clean Air Initiative with the German Thai Chamber of Commerce, we realized very quickly it's an uphill battle to fight for clean air, especially in Thailand. We realized that the awareness is not there. The awareness, even among the government, we talked to the government, and we were told, some are thinking there, it's a weather issue. But the root cause is not actually, you know, attacked. It's the weather is blamed, but not the root cause. If you talk to the Thai society, to people, they somehow don't really complain about the pollution, you know, they just accept it. Although we see a slow change happening now. If you read the Bangkok Post, almost every week, they're actually having an article somewhere about, you know, PM 2.5, about air pollution. And there's also a lot of networks now that have established, you know, the Thai Clean Air Network in the north and so on, who are working very hard and suggesting legislation, which we don't have, as I said at the beginning. But still, I believe it's a long way. So waiting for the government is probably not the best solution, you know, in moving forward. So my question is, how is it about approaching the industry leaders? Look, I mean, with in the sugar business, Meatpon is one of the largest sugar producing companies in the world. Food industry, CP is feeding the world. They're cash-rich companies. What is their attitude towards these things? I mean, all big companies are looking for sustainability. They make it, you know, their corporate policies. What is the attitude in the Thai big industry, you know, towards these issues?
Okay, you're right, Andreas. Let me go into this question step by step. You're right. It's not enough to just depend only on the government for support, and we don't really kind of depend only on that. We need to get wider. We need to get into a higher level of industry interface. I mean, our coming into this discussion is itself an indication of that. But to be specific on the next part of the question, which is our interface with the industry, you mentioned Meatpon. Meatpon is a valued customer. I mean, they do have the CLAAS quadrants, and we've been associated with Meatpon now for some years. And even a few weeks ago, we had a meeting with their officials out in the field, and they are very supportive. It's not just Meatpon, but even other sugar mills are very supportive when it comes to this, baling initiative. But there's one important thing that we realized over the years is that the sugar mills themselves are geared into sugarcane production or maybe power production. They're not so much, okay, they can have a few minutes of machines, but they're not, it's not their core competence to own, operate, and run equipment. For that, you need, they're happy if there are other investors, private investors, who would come in, own, operate, and run these equipments, and they would, of course, support such investors fully. And the amount of cane trash that they are getting is less than 10% of what they need. So there's absolutely, they're willing to even sign contracts saying, okay, we assure you offtake. We assure you this offtake at a certain price. They are willing to come into meetings with financiers where they say, fine, you please finance the equipment. We assure, offtake of trash at a certain price, and therefore the investor would have a regular revenue stream from which he can pay off the loans. So they're willing to come into such discussions. They're willing to see more and more contractors invest in equipment for baling. So our own experience has been that we've always seen a positive attitude towards technology adoption by these large companies, particularly, at least I know, sugar mills. But the only point that I would like to repeat again is they may not themselves be too keen in owning it and operating it themselves, but they would love to see contractors or investors in between who can do this for them.
I mean, I was surprised to hear, but it's very impressive that you already have 1,000 machines, you know, in Thailand. What is your estimate, you know, how much more room to go, you know, to actually make an actual impact? Because your 1,000 machines don't make an impact, unfortunately.
Yes,
What is needed?
Yeah, in terms of numbers, Andreas, I would easily say it can take in a few hundred machines a year, easily. Because even then we're scratching the surface. 1.8 million hectares of sugarcane fields will not be possible to address even in the next, I would say, decade, if we were to do 100 machines a year. So there's a huge potential. We haven't even bothered to sit down to see what the potential is, because we are not even scratching the surface.
Yeah. I see in the chat a comment from Mark. He said the contractors are the challenge, and he suggests to go through cooperatives, you know, who do the financing, and the farmers actually do the job by themselves and pick up the agricultural waste. Is that an approach from your experience that helps?
It could help. In fact, we already have the cluster farm initiative that is being promoted. And this could become one of the steps that a cluster farm or a cooperative or a group of farmers can do, which is fine. And we do not have a direct experience as of now, but it's just that, and Mark is right, it becomes easier then for a group of farmers or a cooperative to then get the required funding and then invest. But that's just that, again, it's a question of competence. Some of these groups of farmers should also enlist, or some of them themselves should be capable of running and operating equipment. So it's a question of also having the know-how and the experience of managing equipment. So it's not just just a farmer may not be able to kind of do it. You would need to have at least some of them with some amount of knowledge of the contracting business to make it work. But it's a good point, and I agree with this. We would be happy to even, in fact, get into discussions with farmer groups or cluster farms and make such a thing possible.
Interesting. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Nothing else is coming up.
And yes, there's another comment to this, again, I think by Mark. Absolutely, Mark, you're right. Competence and know-how is a big challenge. And agricultural schools, how do they help in the know-how? Let me repeat something here. We would love, and we do this in other countries of the world, we would love to cooperate with universities, and we already have one in the call today. We will make time to go out and use the platforms provided by universities to even contribute to this knowledge sharing. And I mean, it would be a privilege to do such a thing. So if there are universities who would like to come up, set up a platform where they can invite then contractors, farmers, government officials, anybody. I mean, the audience is up to the university to decide. We will make time to come in and share the know-how that we have, and even invite them actually to these field days that we organize off and on. This is a good time to start because we have the season on for the next couple of months, and I'll be more than happy to extend support to such an initiative.
Very good. With our working group, so we have planned one more seminar, although it appears that will be slightly postponed. But other than that, I will stick my head together with Roland Wein, how to bring this on another level with our working group. Anil, you're new in town, but of course you are more than welcome to join our working group, and the same, of course, applies to everyone, who has registered here today and beyond. We've been through a series of really interesting seminars, so let's discuss, what can be the next steps, to move this even further. We shouldn't stop here. We should see, you know, what can be done, you know, to at least hopefully have a small impact, you know, for this important topic. Roland, is there anything else from your end, you know, as our host today?
No, I would just also like to thank Anil for this very insightful presentation. I feel kind of inspired that we not only talk about the problem of air pollution, but it seems there are ways to solve this problem. There are opportunities which we just have to use and make them come true. So that's really inspiring. Thanks for that. And of course, Andreas, to you as the chair of our working group of the Clean Air Initiative, thank you very much for hosting and moderating today's webinar. Very much appreciated. And then I look forward to our discussion. And of course, all people interested in the topic of Clean Air Initiative of the German Thai Chamber are more than welcome to join our discussion later on. Thank you very much from my side as well.
I think we have our last few minutes, and we saw the incoming questions from Dr. Bernd Christensen in the Q&A, and also Dr. Darya from Ministry of Agriculture have raised her hand. I think I will just decide to allow her to talk. Maybe she have something to address.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Darya, please.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ka.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry about you cannot see my face. Yeah. Anyway, for the thank you for the presentation. And I would like to say that in Thailand now we are promote about the renewable energy from biomass, and so the power plant can supply the electric to the grid, and there are many of projects that promote the using biomass from the waste of the farm, from residue from farm to be electricity. So then I think that we are thinking in the same way to use, but to start using big farm machinery in the plots that maybe some place is there are small plots, may not easy. We need to prepare more than just to take the machine in the field. So I think that because I am also be the president of Thai Society of Agricultural Engineering either. So then I think that to collaboration, working on the field, and to give farmer about the information and knowledge, especially by technical knowledge is necessary. So then this is, I think it is the good starting way to join together, working for this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ketiapas. Thank you so much for this information and for participating, I must say. And you're right, it's not possible to go into all fields with all kinds of equipment, but sugarcane fields particularly are quite large, and you can deploy the kind of equipment we did see in the presentation. But then you have paddy fields which are smaller, and then you have smaller equipment for that. But your insight is correct. We cannot have one kind of solution for every kind of field, which is something that we fully understand and accept. And it'll be definitely our pleasure to cooperate with the ministry to see how and what kind of equipment are needed. And I think very quickly, I think I would also like to address the point that Dr. Christiansen has raised. And first of all, thank you so much for participating, Bernd, in this, and also for inviting some of the other senior participants. You're right, there is a clear potential, and then the question that you had is, why is it not working? What is the bottleneck? So in a sense, I would say it's working. We have about 1,000 quadrants or let's say balers working in the field. But you're right, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. There's a huge potential that we can tap, and it's a question of a little bit of time for adoption, because we didn't start decades ago. We started actually in Thailand quite a few years ago, and we've made we've covered a lot of distance. So it will happen. We have more investors wanting to come in and invest. If we have more financiers willing to understand the business model and be easy on financing, not just the interest rates, but just providing finance, this could make a huge difference. And it's a question of awareness sometimes, like Andreas mentioned, on the business model itself, because sometimes financiers would like to finance models that they know. So financing could play a huge impact. Easier financing norms could play a huge impact in increasing adoption.
Anil, I think Dr. Kirsten has raised his hand. Maybe allow him to talk for this last minute, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
we are
Yeah.
doing the closing at 10.
Sure.
Dr. Kirsten, we have unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. And congratulations, Anil, to your excellent presentation. Let me share some information or some experience that we had in Germany. You know, when I was young, I'm a farmer's son. My father sent me out to the fields and told me, burn the fields down. And so we know the situation, how it is here in Thailand. Now, what can we do, and why did we change in Germany our behavior? One reason was there was a law, and this law prohibited us to burn the fields, and the law was implemented. So we had negative, we had to fear a fine to pay if we would continue burning the fields. So, and I believe this is a measure that is needed here in Thailand too, because technically with your machinery, we could solve the problem, but we also need to integrate the state, the government, that really implements the bans of fire, because there are laws that prohibit the fire, but the government is not capable to implement those bans. And I believe if they are really pushing on the farmers to obey the law and not burn the fields, that would be helpful. On the same side, it would be also helpful if at the same time the government offers subsidies or introduces other incentives for the farmers or the industry in order to invest in this machinery. Because I think, as you said, at the moment we have 1,000 baling machines in Thailand. We need more. And I'm glad that you showed the picture of the small baler, because the small baling machine can be.
If I put 1 second.
The small baling machines can be used on smaller fields too. So we have solutions, technical solutions. We need a good cooperation and maybe also a coordination between government, industry, and private society in order to solve this problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Christensen. And I think we have the last remark from Dr. Y, and then we are ready to wrap up the session today.
Yeah, on a final note, especially what Anil said about the problem of financing, maybe we should connect our activities also with the topic of green financing, because this is a huge topic now in Germany, in the EU. And maybe we should also look to label all the opportunities as an opportunity for green financing and financial institutions to go into this green direction. I think as the working group and as the German Thai Chamber of Commerce, we also should and will look into this topic. Maybe we can make some things better. Thanks.
Okay, Kun Andreas.
I just want to finish this up with a big thank you very much to everyone, you know, for the active participation, and again, Anil, to this excellent presentation. I look very much forward to continue this, you know, with a working group, you know, and I'm looking forward, you know, to seeing you very soon, you know, in a similar format. Thank you very much.